Hi, my name's Tony. I'm at Cas versus Wild 7 and bushcrafting out here for the week in the woods. And I want to show you a simple setup on how to cook meat. And we're going to cook bacon over the fire using a simple stick and a Y that we have hooked up. Now, before I show you how to do the cooking, what you need is a stick that makes a Y, and you put it in the ground, and you hammer it in. Then you find you another stick that's going to be long enough to cross the fire to wherever here. Now, most people will put another Y here and put the stick in it and the Y in it, but that makes it stationary to where all you can do is just rotate when you want to rotate it. But if the fire's too hot on this side and you got a Y here, you're limited and you can't do anything to move the stick. So through years of practice, which is what you're supposed to do with bushcrafting, is actually get around a fire, see how people do things, get some inspiration, and modify things. So if you notice, I got the Y stick, and I have this stick, and I shaved the stick first, because you got to remove the bark when you're cooking meat on a stick. Because if you don't, the bark is full of bacteria, full of germs, and also spores, like mold spores. If you'll find trees, if you look at trees, you'll notice mushrooms grow on them, and various other things grow on trees, and some can be poisonous to you. And if you don't clean your stick first, the food could absorb that bacteria or those spores, and then when you ingest it, it can make you sick. So you take your stick and you peel the bark off, cut the bark off of it, and then after you do that, the wood is still green and it's got a lot of sap in it, and you put your stick over the fire and leave it there for a while and rotate it every now and then to dry the stick and to pretty much sterilize where your meat's going to be, because heat will kill bacteria, it'll kill spores, and it dries out so even the sap won't absorb into the meat that you're cooking with the stick. Now, we're cooking without a pan. This is bushcraft cooking where it's just a stick. So the stick lays on anything you want to put here. You can actually put 2 more Ys if you want to and a stick between it to where this lays on it. It's like a crane, and I can move it away in various areas of the fire. If it's too hot here, I can move it over, my food over here. It's like a temperature control. I can move 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. I can move it a whole foot or more if I want, or 3 feet. So that's a simple way. But another thing is, if you slide a chicken on here and you're cooking the chicken, one side's always heavier than the other. So your food will have a tendency of falling toward the bottom. I learned a long time ago, if you cut a notch out of the end of the stick here, and you put that in the Y, it'll wedge in the Y like that, and it won't turn that as easy. You can wedge it this way, wedge it that way, your food will stay. You can even put it this. You can put 4 ways, and the heavy part of your meat will stay where you want it. If the heavy part of your meat's on the bottom right now, all I got to do is turn this over to the other wedge area. Now my heavy part's on the top. So with that being said, this is a simple way to cook over a fire without using pans, pots, or whatever. And we're going to cook bacon actually on this stick. People think it's kind of crazy to cook bacon on a stick. You got to have it flat in a pan for it to cook. Not true. So we take the bacon. I cut the bacon slab in half. If the bacon is too long, the bottom of the bacon will burn way too quick. So you got to shorten your bacon strips. And then I'm working on the back of the fire for this, and you just lay them over the wood like so. Let me get some pieces on here, and just lay the bacon. I'm going to pull this out of the fire for a second. So I see that I'm able to pull it away without doing a bunch of joggling and mess. Get the bacon You don't gotta pin it with wood. You can if you want little strips of wood, pin the bacon down, but you really don't have to. You put your bacon on the stick like so. All right. Now you want to try to get them to cook evenly, so you don't want to put too many on at a time. Now I can lean it over to the heat. I don't want to put it right where the fire is, but I want to put it close. And for the initial cook, let's put it up here. It's away from the fire, but that. Now, there's another way to cook it too. You can cook it like this. The bacon drips will just drip into the, and it'll cook in a matter of a few minutes. But you can also add a stick to the top and put it close. And I'll show you why. If you want a more even cook, because the area that's on the stick is always slower to cook, you can take your pan and you can put it over a section, and it will actually trap the heat, and the top will cook at the same time. If you have another stick, you get another pan, you can put it over the top of that. The bacon will cook like you're cooking it in an oven right now. The heat will come back to the meat and cook the top of the meat that's on the stick. So that's an option if you want to do that. Just remember though, you're dealing with heat, and my glove's not here now. Always have a leather glove handy if you decide to use a pan. So we'll be back in a few minutes after this bacon's cooked, and we'll let you see how it's done. You can already see the bacon starting to drip. But this is cooking without any metal or any pans or anything of that nature. It's a simple way to cook, but you will never know it unless you see like we're doing now, or actually get out in the woods and practice cooking food with just sticks and wedges or implementations and a fire. All right, back in a few. Okay, we're back with the bacon, and as you can see, it's been cooking. And now this is thick cut bacon. It's not thin regular grocery store bacon. So thick cut bacon takes longer to cook, but it doesn't get that fried crispy either. But it's all done. Because if I pull a piece of bacon out, and let's do a video comparison. If I pull out a piece of bacon, and I pull out a piece of bacon from here, you can see the color difference. See that? This bacon's done. This bacon isn't cooked yet. I'd rather eat the cooked bacon than not the cooked bacon. But anyways, it comes out good. It comes out nice and crispy. The meat is crispy, and the fat has dripped dry of the contact. It's been rendered, so it's also semi-crispy too. But this is not a microwave type process or like in a pan, so it does take a little longer over the fire to cook. And when you're doing a bushcraft and you're practicing for if we have the SHTF or the WROL, because pans might not be readily accessible. Pans do warp. Pans do eventually go bad, and especially when you're dealing with open fire cooking. So bacon here, this is a great way to do the meat. With steaks, you can do the same thing. Any kind of meat, you lay it over the stick. You can even carve like an oversized toothpick and hold it over it, and then just put the toothpick through the bottom part to keep the meat on the stick so you don't accidentally lose it in the fire. But I've been moving this around for the hotter temp, for the lesser temp, and halfway through, which I didn't do, maybe I should have done it in between video, but halfway through, I took the bacon and I just turned it over so it would, get cooking on both sides. But as you can see with the fire, the bacon is done, and that's how you cook. And if I wanted to do all the bacon at one time, I could carve 3 sticks and use them in the same Y and have all 3 sticks of bacon cooking all at one time. But for this video, I just did 1 stick to show you the simpleness of using the crane method and find the hot spots and then find the less hot spots to keep from burning what you got there. But anyways, this is my tip, and I hope it helps you. Get out there, do this, try it, try the bacon, you'll enjoy it. You don't have to have a pan. You just have to have inspiration and ingenuity. But that takes trial and error. And that's what you got to do when you're out in the woods. So have a great time. Calves vs. Wild 8 will be next year. But until then, get out there and camp. Don't go to a campsite that's an RV park or any of that. Find the primitive camping and give it a try. You'll probably be more comfortable in this kind of a setting. All right, guys. Until next time, this is Calves vs. Wild 7. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm chewing my head off here because this is bacon that I just cooked on the crane. And appearance can fool you because all the fat is rendered out of this. But it's crunchy. See? It's crunchy. And it's done. See, even the fat area is done. It's good. I like it. You know what? I'm cooking more. Why? Because I like bacon. Bacon's good in the woods. All right. Have a great day.